Hello everyone, it's Carl Parker here from ADV Moto, and we've got a really exciting bit of topic to go over today, and that is Honda has released their XL750 Transalp at EICMA Motor Show in Europe. We saw the Transalps briefly here in the United States, but they disappeared in the Great Adventure Dual Sport Extinction event of the early 90s. I think we had them here around 1992 or so. Some things have carried over from the older 700V model, like the large dash area and some of the color options, which we'll mention later, but as an all-new platform, it comes with a host of new features. So what's new with the 2023 Transalp, and how is this going to stack up to the competition? Well, first, gone is the 700cc VTwin from the previous generation. Instead, it's replaced by a new 750cc parallel twin with the increasingly popular 270-degree offset firing order. It also includes a slipper clutch, which we've seen on recent bikes that not only reduce the engine braking effect, but also reduce the clutch lever pull effort. Parallel twins are well on their way to dominating the multiple cylinder bike market, and for a couple of reasons. One is they are compact. So in the adventure dual sport world, what this means is that top tube, which is usually underneath the tank, can be shorter, and this reduces our reach to the bar from the saddle, and this is important for us when we are standing. And two is they're more cost efficient to manufacture as well as maintain. Also, being a twin, they could still have an amazing sound that people love about twins. We won't know how this new engine performs until we can kind of test one out, but we can only hope at this time that it continues Honda's reputation for reliability. The new Transalp comes with 21 and 18-inch tubed wheels as standard, and these are mated to a set of Showa suspension components. So the forks are upside down and just a single rear shock. They are only preload adjustable, which can be expected at a bike of around $10,000 price point. And it's not uncommon for first generation bikes to have largely unadjustable suspension. One is it provides an upgrade opportunity for future revisions. Two is it brings the new model entry price point down a little bit, right, when you're trying to launch a new model and get it out there to people. And three, it serves as a differentiation point between models of different price brackets. So in this case, right, there would be less overlap with an Africa Twin, let's say. Also, coming with the new XV750 is a slew of updated electronics, and this is where I think maybe its strongest suit would be at the price point. Comes with stuff like ride-by-wire, boxy full-color TFT display, and all-round LED lighting. It also comes with 4 riding modes, being Sport, Standard, Rain, Gravel, and a rider-definable user mode, which I think is really cool. So for an estimated MSRP of around $10K, this is considerably more robust electronics package than found on other current bikes in this range. If, however, Transalps end up being closer to $12,000 or $13,000, it would be a different story. Body and styling wise, it looks like an overgrown CB500X, which some people may or may not like. Retro round headlights found on other recently released models seem to be coming back into fashion, and for good reason. That said, it's nice how the new Transalp is designed from ground up to be an adventure bike, and not a modified street bike like the CB500X with its higher mounted foot pegs. The 3 color options highlighted in the European release of the bike harken back to the vintage Transalp styling. We would have liked to have seen at least one more exciting or modern graphic treatment in the initial offering, as well as the classic red, white, and blue scheme they call Ross White tricolor. While we would bet the Transalp is going to come to America, what we see sometimes from Honda is while we may get the bike, we don't necessarily have the same color options. And unfortunately, we've seen more than once, we tend to get the more understated versions on this side of the pond. So in the $10,000 range, how is the Transalp, going to do? Well, we've got a couple bikes that we want to take a look at. One is we see a lot of people comparing it to Yamaha's Tenere 700. And I would say that that's not really an apples-to-apples comparison, most notably in one area, which is the lower seat height. The Transalp has a lower seat option, which brings it down to about 32 inches. This is an important gateway number for a lot of people that are getting into either just riding or riding off-road. The Tenere 700 seat height comes in at about 34 inches, and if you put stiffer springs on them, it's probably closer to about 35 plus. You know, the Tenere 700 also doesn't have the same electronics, bells and whistles as the new Transalp, or at least what it's spec'd with. This is a blessing to many who like to ride off-road, where a lot of kind of electronics may or may not help you. But if you're spec sheet hair splitting, you know, these two are not going to compare as favorably. That said, the Tenere 700, you know, they may have put more of that money into other important areas like suspension. But fundamentally, the difference between the new Transalp and the Tenere 700 is the Transalp is more designed for touring, just like it always has been, whereas the T7 was modeled after rally bikes and reflects some of Yamaha's rally racing heritage in this respect. We could parse numbers between these two bikes all day, but I believe the target buyers for these bikes may be different. A more interesting comparison is with Suzuki's newly released V-Strom 800DE, which also has no MSRP as of yet. This similarly equipped parallel twin V-Strom comes with a large TFT display, it's the same, 3 traction control modes, and is also ride-by-wire. It adds a quick shift to the equation and is an exciting actual new offering from Suzuki. The downside is the Suzuki, by the spec sheets, is supposed to be about 50 pounds heavier, and that puts it more in line weight and feature-wise with bikes like BMW's 850 GS, right? So these things will really depend on where they're priced to see, you know, how these things can be evaluated, you know, to each other and help people make a right decision. Overall, we think the new Transalp is a great release of a bulletproof bike with a lot of heritage and a proven track record. The success of models like Honda's new XL750 Transalp and Suzuki's V-Strom 800DE will depend largely not only on price, but also how they're marketed and supported. We believe that there is real demand for these bikes in this category right now, and both companies are capable of making great rides. They will sit between bikes like the, you know, Kawasaki's KLR 650. They'll sit right on bikes like Yamaha's Tenere 700 and more expensive, usually European brands like KTM, Triumph, and BMW, to name only a few. Obviously, a lot of people have gotten into this segment recently. But any way you slice it, the heat is on for the midsize adventure bike segment. And we could not be more excited to see this competition and diversity in this part of the market than ever before. Why? Because it means more people can find the bike that's right for them. And at the end of the day, that's what really matters. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Also, let us know what you think about the new Transalp from Honda. Will it come to the US? How much do you think it will cost? And is it the bike you're looking for? For the full review, please be sure to check out the article on adventuremotorcycle.com. And until next time, everyone, ride safe and have fun.